How's it going, Vandals? I'm Johnny. Welcome to Graphic Vandalism. You guessed it, it's new video time. This one is Black Magic Women. Now, this is a very fun topic for me because even as a young kid, I have always loved bad to the bone women in comics. But aside from that, the books in this list all take me back to a time and place I really, really loved in comics. I'm talking about the magic and occult comics DC and Vertigo released in the late 80s and 90s, a time and style in comics that helped make me the metal rocking horror fan I am today. I'd also like to mention I left links to where you can find my podcast, Nerds from the Underground, in the description, so please check that out. And with that, Vandals, let's just get into it. All right. Kicking it off with the fun one, we have Punk Mambo, written by the utterly prolific master of horror, Colin Bunn, with art by Adam Gorham, published by Valiant Comics. And dang, this comic is just a total blast, as Bunn's writing of the character is amazing. Punk Mambo is actually written like a real life true punk girl. I just really felt like I was reading about an old friend from my old days in the punk scene. This book is a voodoo showdown of epic proportions, where a Cockney punk girl living in New Orleans has to travel to Haiti after her Loa companion is kidnapped by an old voodoo boogeyman, Uncle Gunnysack. As soon as she hits the island, it becomes a magical war zone where the spirits of old and ancient tradition meet with a new style and attitude. This is honestly my favorite hero book Bunn has ever done. I highly recommend it to any and all fans of Hellblazer. Nice! Next up, let's check out Pretty Deadly, Book 3, The Rat, written by the Queen of Cool, Kelly Sue DeConnick, with just beautiful flowing art by the always magnificent Emma Rios. Published by Image Comics, Kelly Sue and Emma take their surreal gothic fairy tale and just inject it straight into some hard boiled noir action, as this new arc for Pretty Deadly jumps way ahead in time and is set in old Hollywood, as Skullface Jenny, the Reaper of Vengeance, is called to help solve a murder. Let me just say now, I absolutely love Jenny's style of detective work. As she works her way through the nightmares that lurk in the Valley of the Land of Dreams, we are just thrust into this beautifully rendered, harrowing journey of obsession and regrets. Now, I've always loved this series, but this arc just blew me away. The powerhouse team of DeConnick and Rios is one I'll always want to see more of in the story. Right on. Next, let's hop on over to Dr. Mirage, insanely and cleverly written by Magdalene Visaggio, with just lush, vivid, kinetic artwork by Nick Robles, published by Valiant Comics. Now, first off, I just have to say this book really, really reminded me of Shade the Changing Man by Pete Milligan, and that is very epic praise from me. In this book, we find Shin Fong, the enigmatic necromancer occult specialist, Dr. Mirage, and she's kind of in a dark time. She's once again lost contact with her dead husband, and none of her magic seems to be working right. She then meets a strange girl, Grace, who helps open her eyes to her situation, in that in her quest to revive her dead hubby, Mirage went peeking into deep, dark, ancient things that do not like to be peeked at. And wow, it's all just so trippy and so surreal. I completely love what Mags did with this book and what Valiant is doing with their Magic Hero books in general. I very highly recommend this book, so just check it out, yo. And next up is a longtime favorite of mine, Coffin Hill, furiously and maniacally written by one Miss Caitlin Kitteridge, with moody, creepy as hell art by Anaki Miranda, published by Vertigo Comics. In my opinion, this book just has it all. Great horror, a little crime drama, a touch of history, and a main character you just can't help but fall in love with. Eve Coffin is a hero cop, returning to her small town after being shot after breaking a big case. Only thing is, Eve will not be taking it easy at home. As a teen, let's just say Eve raised a little hell. And I'm actually speaking literally here. Her and some friends unleashed an ancient evil entity onto the world, and it's only gotten stronger over time. This is a book that hits hard, it hits fast, and it totally keeps you entertained 100% as it keeps hitting you. This book is by far one of the best underrated hidden gems from Vertigo. I very highly recommend it to any and all horror fans out there. Just check it out. It's so good, yo. All right, last but surely not least, we have my favorite comic of 2020 so far, Coffin Bound, written by one of my favorite new names in comics, Dan Waters, with stark, brutal, beautiful art by the artist only known as Danny, published by Image Comics. Now, this book is part Clive Barker, part live fast, die hard punk rock, and part dark psychedelic spiritualism, the kind that you'd hear from one of those acid casualty rock stars from the 60s. Every word, action, and picture in this book is completely deliberate, and it feeds the metaphors that the narrative plays with. In this book, Waters makes a story with many, many layers, and also much like his book Limbo, he creates his own new styles of magic, and creates new ways to make mundane things magical objects. The book is all about Izzy, a woman who lives fast with an unstoppable elemental creature out to collect a price on her head. She's convinced if she will no longer be part of the world, then the world will have nothing of hers after she's gone, and Izzy is on a quest to erase herself from the world. Tagging along is the character Vulture, who completely steals the show, by the way, and we just get taken on her last nihilistic, dark, beautiful ride, and it's magnificent. I utterly love this book with all of my heart, and I can't wait to get new issues for it. Just buy and read this. It's like reading a true epic golden age Vertigo comic. I'm not kidding. I mean, this thing is perfect. Well, there you have, Vandals. That was Black Magic Women. And I really hope you enjoyed it, or at least learned about a few new books from it. If you have books that you like in the same vein, please share them in the comments, because I love recommendations. But for now, until next time, this is Johnny Alpha from Graphic Vandalism saying, don't stop reading.